Thanks for joining us. I'm Tracie Wells with TVWebCity.
And I'm Shari-Finnell with Indianapolis Women Online, and we're forming a media partnership to talk about the issues that women care about the most.
Video blogging, I think, which is a very cool thing that we should do much more of.
And you have been blogging, and we're going to be adding some video to your blog.
Right. Mm-hmm.
On any issues in particular you want to talk about?
Well, I definitely want to talk about parenting and relationships. I think that's really some of the issues that women are concerned about the most. When we write stories and put them in the magazine, we get a lot of people calling us wanting to talk a little bit more about topics, and usually relationships are the big ones. Kids and spouses are significant others.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I'll look forward to
What are you going to write about?
Oh, I have lots to write about. Lots of topics. I mean, just balancing. I mean, life's balance for women and our demands. I mean, I'm looking at my life a totally different way of rebuilding. I'm in a rebuilding phase right now. So for me, it's very tough being a single mom and being responsible for everything.
I have this idea watching Natalie and her 11-year-old daughter Samantha fight about a party.
Sam, who is 11, decided to come up and get Tracie's opinion on something, which is that she would like to go to a boy-girl Halloween party.
I want to go to this boy-girl Halloween party because my mom gives me a lot of expectations to follow, and I'm pretty sure I follow all of them.
Okay, here's my issue with that. My first issue is the fact that it might not always be about you and what you're doing. Sometimes it's about what other people are choosing to do, and having the strength and the confidence in yourself to be able to say no to those things or make your own decisions. That peer pressure is extremely difficult.
I think it's good that you care about me, but I think if you care about me, you would trust me enough to let me go to this party.
Why?
Because trust between a mother and a daughter is really strong.
It should be, but
It's
it
a
has.
bond.
Okay, trust has to be proven and earned. Trust isn't just like, here's your free gift of trust because you came from my womb.
What haven't I done what have I done to disobey your trust? What have I done to break your trust?
What's right here? What is this? Are you allowed to have this in your room?
No.
Oh, the dog didn't hide it too well. Trust. You did not follow the rules. Trust. You just got totally busted on our video blog. Whoops. Trust. Let's say you go, and let's say something happens that doesn't work out so well, and you prove that we can't trust you. What should the consequence be?
I think the consequence should be that I should get no computer privileges, and I don't really get any social time for like a month or two for what I did. Well, it depends on what it is. If you think it's really bad, really super bad, I get my electronic privileges taken away, which means my cell phone, my iPod, and my computer taken away for a month, and I wouldn't get any social privileges, like no sleepovers, no fun parties, or whatever.
I do not have a problem with you going, as long as there's an adult with you, and there's adult supervision, that A, we call and know what parents are going to be there, that they confirm that yes, indeed, the kids are going to be here, this is what's going to be going on, these are the adults that are there, and that you have supervision as well, and that we feel comfortable and know that we can trust the supervision that you're going to have. I have no problem with that at all whatsoever. However, I will tell you this too. With freedom comes responsibility. And the freedom that you're asking for because you're saying that you have the maturity to handle it, as we give you more freedom, your responsibility can be taken away. Because if you do indeed get in a sticky situation and don't handle yourself well, and you know what? It's going to happen. That's part of growing up. And I'm going to be frustrated but not mad if you talk to me about it and you keep the dialogue open. But again, when you break our trust by not using your freedom wisely, you're going to lose some responsibility. So every time we give you a little bit more, you absolutely have to remember that it's a gift you've been given. And how you handle it and what you do with it is going to make all the difference for the future things you get to do. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So be careful about what you ask for.
So you're going to say you're letting me go?
I don't mind. We've compromised. We check everything out. Adult supervision. Your dad goes with you. I'm totally fine with that.
Okay.
I do want to talk about things that get stuck places and maybe in real life situations and relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and especially I think that women probably talk about those dynamics much more than men do, at least, you know, on a video talk show.
That's right. They talk about it over beer and sports. They slip it in. They do talk a lot.
It has to
And
have,
actually
but do
get
they really
men in,
talk
yeah,
about it? It has to have a sports analogy.
It has to have a balance.
And it has to be, you know, can't you help me move the ball down the field here, honey?
It depends on the age groups too. I find that as men get older, and everybody loses hormones, right? So men get more in touch with their feminine. They actually do. A lot of men in my age range, because they talk about stuff. It's really
So
interesting.
that's why a second marriage is better
That's
than a
why
first.
yes, see, there you go. It's not the dress rehearsal, the trial run.
Right.
So do you find that in the people that you counsel, that relationships and marriage, divorce, I'm recently divorced, is that one of the main reasons
Oh,
that people come
absolutely,
to
because
see
people
you?
want to be happy. And we don't gravitate toward what's bad or good. We attract people because they're familiar. And until you learn to discern, many times we end up marrying
Same type of person.
or we repeat people that were familiar from our mother or father, our brother or sister, and we find
I
what
did
was
that the
familiar.
first time.
Oh, yeah.
I married my father.
Yeah, it's frightening. I did too.
I
People even
swore I
said, you
would
look
never
like
do
him. And
that.
I was like, no.
And I look now and I think that there was something to that. And
Oh, there is.
I think the first time taught me exactly what I don't want.
Right, sometimes we have to find out what we don't want to manifest what we do.
Right.
That's right on.
While I didn't do the same thing, I have done complete opposite. I had completely what I didn't want, you know, all the things I grew up with that I didn't
Sure.
want. And now I've picked completely what I do.
And that's fantastic.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Very happy for
Yeah,
you.
exactly. I can tell. Do you find that you meet a lot of bitter women these days?
and I try to get people to take responsibility because again, we have choices, and that's where we have to take responsibility. It's like it's a magnet. We attract people for a reason, and I say it's like Jesus and Buddha said, embrace evil, you know. And there's truth to it. If you polarize with the things that you have problems with, or with you still have this bitter thing about your ex-husband or this person, it's going to just have power. You want to. I tell people, kill that person off, whether it be a mother, father, brother, sister, you know, boyfriend, husband, whatever. See them by their first name. See them as a child, as a baby. Anything you've ever wanted to say to them, I don't care if it's negative, yell, scream, get it out of your system, then replace that role, that archetype with their first name. And then see them just as a little baby, and the forgiveness starts to come. Because we choose these lessons. That's the other thing. A lot of reasons why people stay in relationships for a long time too. You look back and you think, why did I stay there so long? You know?
Right, right.
But there's things you had to finish. There's things you had to work out. You had matching pictures of things to heal. And too many times people make very abrupt breaks, and then they jump right into another relationship. And that can work sometimes, but a lot of times, you know, it's like jumping into the fire. It's
From the frying pan into
the fire,
another
the
frying
perpetual
pan.
fire. Yeah, and it's fascinating with people though. There's so much we can learn from not blaming. I mean, we can yell and scream, we should, and get it out of our systems, but then say, okay, what was my part?
Absolutely. So then for people who are married, I think maybe a great column could be, or a great blog for us could be, how do you make your marriage before it dissolves like your second marriage? How do you make your first marriage
In other
like a
words, how do you
second
start
marriage?
something entirely new?
There you
Put
go.
a new spin
How do
on
you change it?
You know, I think that this is a wonderful place to stop and pick up, because you and I were having this conversation. I was saying how, you know, we really wanted to learn how to communicate better. And you said, I think that that's the best idea I've heard, is go to someone,
Absolutely.
get professional, you know, advice and structure on how to communicate before the crisis hits.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Marilyn.
Oh, thank
We want
you. I
to
enjoyed
ask
it.
you and get answers on some other things if you'll join us.
Absolutely.
And we
Happy
know
to.
that we're going to be raiding Natalie's house again here soon, because we like sitting and drinking coffee.
I love the house.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Well, we're talking kids. I mean, these are really huge topics that are very interesting.
Absolutely.
And does Halloween candy actually do anything to your teeth?
This is something that I found interesting. I was talking to Natalie about this. I didn't tell her that we were going to be necessarily discussing Halloween candy and teeth, but I said, you know, can you imagine going trick-or-treating with kids and then taking their bag of Halloween candy and saying it's too bad for your teeth and I'm going to go turn this in to the dentist?
And I
Can you
said, I
imagine?
do it. What I do
Well,
is I
you
say,
don't just take No, you don't.
yes, I do.
No,
Here's
you
what I
let them
say.
take
Well,
some.
there's a balance. I say you can have 20 pieces out of there, and for the next 20 days you can have a piece, and I put the rest in a huge basket and I take it to the office, and everybody at work can enjoy it.
There is a doctor in Indianapolis who does have some tips for families, for parents and for children. Here are some of the things that Halloween candy can do to your teeth, but of course, as you just said, there's a balance.
Hi, I'm Janae for TVWebCity. It's that time of year again where the Halloween candy is going to be coming in and out of the house. We wanted to know, what kind of damage does it really do to a child's teeth? We've decided to ask the experts and are visiting a pediatric dentist. So let's go talk to Dr. Charles Poland.
Remember you had bean biters, you had pizza chewers. Do you remember that one chicken nugget nibbler that we saw last time? You remember it was one right up in front? I'm not the dentist that hands out toothbrushes at Halloween, and when kids come to my house on Halloween, we're going to have fun. And frankly, they're going to get Snicker bars because that's my favorite. Parents need to remember that any time any kind of sugar goes through the mouth, there's going to be a 20 to 30 minute period when that sugar is converted to acid, and the acid starts to weaken the tooth toward making a cavity. So if you think about how foods are eaten, you know, we want to eat the foods that are, if they have a high sugar content, eat the foods that are over with quick, and get on to healthier foods, or that's enough of the snack, rather than these foods that you nibble and sip all the time. Fight 'em. Yep, look at them tap dance. Get that on the camera, see them tap dance? Give me 5. Good job. Good job. I think parents should monitor how much candy they bring home. I think it's extremely important that parents look closely at those pieces of candy and how it's packaged, and make sure that everything there has a commercial wrapper on it.
Good smile.
He told me you were doing a good job brushing his teeth.
I learned. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tracie Wells with TVWebCity.
And I'm Shari Finnell with Indianapolis Women Online. Thanks for joining us.